Yo fam, guys, 24 hours later, the market went from a pullback and possibly a breakout. So in today's stream, I want to speak around this breakout we're possibly seeing on the altcoin chart. Does this mean that the altcoin pullback is done? Now, over the last couple of days, we spoke around a pullback. A decent amount of altcoins actually hit the zones we spoke around. Tokens like ETH and Solana didn't, right? They hardly pull back and they're breaking out yet again. So I want to speak around alts that are breaking this trend right now. Ones that are actually in good possible entry zones. I do want to speak around if Bitcoin does not make a new high, does that mean a trap is involved? Okay, and I think the big question is, keep limit orders lower, right? Or start piling into altcoins that are breaking trends. So guys, do me a favor, smash up the like button. Hope you guys are doing fantastic. Let's go.
I try and help everyone in my space, and this is what I get. I try and fight the devils, but inside I'm just like Sniper. Welcome to Sheldon Show.
Howdy fam, how is it going? So guys, the important thing is to kind of explain, when we go into these territories. I did speak around pullbacks get a little bit scarce, right? And the big question is the current altcoin leg that we have seen over the last couple of days, is it done and are we having the pullback? Now, we started getting signs that the pullback has begun, right? Or did start to begin. So if you look at the altcoins, right, they started to break some trends, starting to push to the downside over here, right? But at the same point, the more you kind of zoom out and now you see, okay, maybe the market wants to go again, it also means that, hey, we haven't started that couple-day pullback. Right? Every time, you're going to have these strong legs to the upside, and then you are going to get to a point of 7 days, right, of actually pulling down to the zones. Okay? And therefore, when we start to break high time frame resistances, right, the important thing is to get ready for support buys, but also know sometimes the leg may not be finished. Right? So why I'm saying it's so important is to pay attention to still buying ones that are worth it. Right? Your altcoins that have kind of gone and left you a little bit, there will be a time where you can accumulate them. But at the same time, I also want to go through a little bit of, hey, don't confuse trades versus investing, right? Investing areas, you don't have to worry about a 5-10% range, right? You're buying the breakout for something that will make money over the few months. Trading, you want to be a little bit more specific because you have risk involved, you maybe have leverage involved, all these different things, right? So for me, yes, things like ETH and Solana haven't really pulled much back, and they're breaking out again. But the thing is, they may not have hit their temporary top yet to actually have the real pullback. But when it comes to other altcoins, right, XRP pulled back to the 0.5618, right, a good area to accumulate that. Dogecoin pulled back to the big zones. Chainlink pulled back to big zones, right? So other good alts, right, have pulled down and are at zones of the pullback where we wanted to see them, right? So the way it kind of works with me right now is accumulate the good alts that I want and keep to the method of buying them on major supports. Even though I might not have all of the altcoins right now, know that they might still be in their bush leg. The pullback will happen at some point. So again, if we look at a couple things here, right, the first thing I want to show again is just keep in mind the stochastic RSI, right? Just keep it in mind. You can see the 4 hours going up, but keep this in mind over here. Okay, that we're still sitting up over at this area. Now, it does mean that, hey, we could see another 2-3 days bullishness, but at some point we're going to have a full retracement. Okay, and that's why I say chasing is super important, as well as trusting this current breakout we're seeing here. We must be careful that this is not a major trap, right? So the key here with today's stream is to go through all the alts and say, guys, as much as the FOMO wants to kick in, right, and these things are breaking to chase, it's still worth having limit orders lower down. The difference, though, is as we maybe make new highs, those limit orders do slowly start to rise because it's the next major supports, they start to rise up as we start to make a bigger leg to the upside. What I mean by that is when we have a leg, we tend to pull back 50%. So if we increase where the high is, right, it does mean that that 50% mark is starting to move up. So this is what we are seeing today, right? And let's go through a couple of plays here. The first one is Bitcoin, right? So here's Bitcoin. It does start to lose these trends. And as you can see, we are still currently sitting on the other side of that trend, right? So something I want to quickly have a look at with you guys here is just see where we are sitting when it comes to the RSI. Is there any divergences? This is important, right? So let's see, no divergence. So that's a good sign, right? But basically means this could be a real push to the upside. We're not seeing a bearish divergence just yet. However, if we look at this now, we have to get through this 60 to 70% range. Okay, so here's Bitcoin. It is at the 618. So this, putting to context of, yes, I'm trading altcoins, but at the same time, I got to remember that things will kind of follow the route of where Bitcoin's going. Okay, if I look at this over here, Bitcoin still ain't safe to say that, hey, we are going to make new highs. right? But at the same point, right, I do need to know where it does get bullish. So here are the two resistances on Bitcoin right now. $80,000 where we are at right now, okay? And then we do have this area over here of the $80,800 level, right? Now, why is this significant? Because if we do not get a new high, that is likely we're going to make a new low, okay? And like I said, I don't think that these 70 to 71,000 might be tested anymore. We'll see as time kind of goes. Right now, as it stands, I wouldn't be surprised if 75, anyway, it's between 74 and 76 get tested, right? So if we don't make a new high, it does open us up to something like that. And then we get ready to start pushing up to the higher $90,000 kind of range. Okay, so for now, as it stands, Bitcoin still has two big levels ahead of it. So if I want to turn pretty bullish here, okay, here's around 2-3 plays that I'm seeing, okay, is we need to really obviously smash through here, okay? If this happens, and I'm playing on this scenario, I do want to catch altcoins that are just breaking out. I don't want to catch alts that have started to really move, right? Because it does put me into a risk category of the second scenario that can play out, which is this, right? We actually push down to new lows. Okay, then the last one that I want to speak around is actually a bullish pattern. So if you look at the problem of what we were forming here, and still to this day what we are still in a uprising channel. Right, so that still shows me that even if Bitcoin pushes up to 81, 82,000, we're still in this channel and we're actually forming a bearish pattern for that exit at some point. Okay, so what I would like to see, right, is I'd actually like to see this happen and us turn this into a bullish pattern. Right, that's what I would like to see. So putting this into, into context, this is not getting me to that point right now, right? Other than high time frame, I'll go through a high time frame in a sec, but this ain't like, oh, I want to open 100 altcoin positions right now, right? This is like, I'm going to open 1 or 2 strong alt positions, okay, and just give the market some time, right? That's where my mentality is at over here, because yes, we're looking strong, but there's still a lot can kind of go wrong. And I would rather save my ammo for really, really, really good altcoin entries, right? The RSIs, again, are telling me that at any point now we will have a little bit of a couple day retracements, okay? And I'm still looking at up to a 10-15% down in some altcoin positions, okay? But let's go through the chart setups. Guys, just before I continue, there are literally, where is it? Oh, here. Okay, there are 3 days left to get you guys great bonuses on 2bit. So guys, 2bit, great exchange, bots, TradFi, crypto, okay? But here we go. We're running out of time if you want to get a 20% rebate on your deposits, right? So if you do $100, you get $20 USDT bonus. If you do $4,000, you get $800 USDT bonus, right? This is running out in 3 days. If you're looking for exchange, here's a great sign-up deal for you guys. Click on the link below in the description, right? Here it is, okay, to get that 20% bonus. Okay, let's jump back in over here. So let's now go through the altcoins, okay? Why we're seeing some good altcoin strength is the Bitcoin dominance, right? So Bitcoin dominance is starting to lose some trends over here. And as you can see, we're losing this 4-hour trend, okay? Now, the important thing I want to pay attention to alts here is, firstly, it is actually making a little bit more of a bullish pattern than Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin kind of had the uprising wedge, right? We did have this. This is why I say day by day, things kind of start to change. Remember, trading and making money in these markets, right? It's like reading a book. Every day, a new page happens in the book, and you start to tell a little bit more of the story of what the market's trying to tell you, right? Or give you little hints of what could be happening next. Okay, so if we look at this, this was bearish. Okay, we did have the pullback that played out really good. Okay, but now you fast forward a day or two later, and you actually see that, okay, now we are forming a bullish pattern, and we're starting to break out, right? So that means any positions that I want to take today, it's quite obvious, okay, that I want to buy the break of the trends, and I want to have tightish stop losses. Why? Because the Bitcoin trap can still happen. Until Bitcoin is fully safe, I don't want to miss this buyout, right? If I see alts that are here and it's worth the risk right now, I'm going to take some of the trades, right? But I also know that, hey, don't be surprised if something like this happens, okay, just because Bitcoin is still sitting below $81,000, $82,000, right? So I must keep that in mind. Nonetheless, these setups make sense. If I look at this over here and I want to buy, I'm putting stop losses over here of where I'm buying. I'm actually looking to the high, if not new highs on alts. Now again, why I'm saying that this could just be one bigger leg that's still in play until we have a high time frame pullback. This is the first leg, guys. Okay, so that means the next leg, if we look at resistances here, here's the first resistance we stopped at. The next one is sitting up over here. Okay, so it basically means that alts could actually rally up to here first, before it actually wants to have a daily pullback. Right, that is something to keep in mind. So that jumps me to the altcoins now. Here's ETH. ETH is starting to break out. So if I wanted to take a ETH position, I'm personally not right now. I'm going to wait for a little bit of a daily pullback, but doesn't mean this ain't going to rip, right? There's the buys, right? You're looking for the next push up. Let's go look at where the next resistances are sitting on ETH. Right, the next resistances are sitting at 2.7. Right, anywhere here, there is one at 2.630 and 2.7, right, is the closing candles on the daily. So that would kind of be the setup I'm looking for ETH. Still from there, at some point in one of these resistances, I'm still looking at that nice little shakeout, right, and then continuation. So that's why me personally, I do think we could get this price still later on. So I'm going to wait a little bit and be a little bit more patient. Nonetheless, ETH is starting to break out. Just showing you how ETH and Solana are really joining the market this time, right? We never had them really there the last couple of pumps, right? So ETH, it's nice to see that these are here and they're going to help us with keeping that dominance down, right? And actually helping the altcoins to move. Therefore, you look at a couple of the altcoins, and I actually want to bring this up here for a sec. All right, let's jump here to the altcoins. Where is it? Oh, here. Some of them are starting to move, guys. Some of them are really starting to move. Let's bring this up here. Get this in over here. Okay. There we go. Okay. Look at this. VeChain is waking up. Nice to see a VeChain pump, right? SPX is waking up. But I see the 𝗕𝗵𝗶𝗶 is waking up again. Lighter's waking up. A couple of new altcoins are starting to wake up. So it's nice to see, okay? And it kind of reminds us a little bit more of the 21 run, right? We're actually getting the altcoin rally that is starting to happen with this. The next big breakout is Solana, guys. Now again, Sol, right, had a pullback, actually bounced on support, was in a bearish pattern, and now actually breaking out and turning a bullish, right? So good breakout from Sol. Now again, this don't, for me, mean that the pullback ain't there. This actually could have been a big part of it, from 102 down to 80, 87, 88, that little wick that came in, right? But nonetheless, it just means that this leg could not be done either before it has a daily pullback. So the next resistances, we might actually see Sol continue rallying up to $120 first, before we start looking at any bigger pullbacks. Now remember, those pullbacks, right, as we start to make these legs up, okay, don't be surprised that, again, we push up here and we do have that kind of pullback. Right, very similar to where we are now, okay? If it gets through 120, we're then looking at 130, 140. Then the wave gets a little bit bigger, right? But nonetheless, Solana is breaking out. So if there was a trade that I would basically be looking to possibly take today, right, I would be looking at this little pullback to here and then possibly taking position tight stops, right? Just until Bitcoin is in a full safe position. Now, these are alts that are already moving, right? Let's speak around ones that are pulling back, right? They pulled back into good zones. So if we look at something like XRP as an example, right? XRP pulled into a good support zone, okay? And actually possibly starting to break trend. So this is one trade that I've attempted today. I'm still a little bit cautious with where Bitcoin's at, okay? So I'm not in too many of the trades. So I've now fired up the funded accounts again, okay? And I've just taken 2 XRP positions. So there we go. I'm in on XRP. Right, so, and what I've done is I put a nice tight stop loss for now, right? If this fakes out and Bitcoin rejects, I still want to catch it over here, right? So XRP is one position, now turned into a bullish pattern, and one that I've taken, right? Then when we come down to the rest here, like Cardano has broken out, right? So Cardano positions are up for grabs over here. So these are tokens that if I'm looking to open new positions today, these are ones that I'm pretty much paying a little bit more attention to the Solanas and ETHs. Right, I've been buying long-term Solana and ETH, right? I've been speaking about it for a long time, so I need to ride those bags for now. But when it comes to trades and positions, I need to buy ones that are freshly breaking trends, right? One that hasn't broken out yet is NEAR. So what I would like to see here is a little rejection and hopefully a NEAR break. Until then, right, I wouldn't be surprised if NEAR does come back down, to the mid 1.8s. So this one I kind of be a little bit patient with, right? If we look at hype is good, just a bearish pattern for now. Okay, so I'm still kind of in hope of seeing that come into play, and I need to just stick to the major rules, right? Couple of alts that are showing strength now. There's Dogecoin, right? So Doge positions will be here, stop losses over here for push up to the highs, right? Just know that they can fake out. That's why for me, I'm not putting too many in, but I don't want to miss it in case the altcoin like it has another leg, right? So this could be a position, stop loss over here, and if it fakes out, lower down, and then we have an opportunity for this over here. Okay, so me realistically, whatever I was going to trade or anything like that, I'm probably 20-30% in. Right, the rest I'm kind of leaving for now. I can add them a bit later. I do know at some point we'll have a daily pullback. One that's coming into zones, okay, is Injective, and I'm actually coming a little bit lower down again, but Injective has now come and retested support. Okay, there is a possibility of low $5, but one that I'm building some spot positions on. I see this one moving very soon. So I've been accumulating Injective. I see that on the high time frame for a little bit long-term bags here, right? Uniswap has broken and retested. So I'm looking for Uniswap push to $8 at any point now. So Uniswap is one that I'm buying today and spot. I want to remind you guys, you got trades and you got long-term. So this is a long-term buy right now, right? Pendle is a long-term buy right now. If I look at AVAX, not just yet. I can DCA into this definitely. Okay, it's actually really good. It's just not above the 200-day moving average. But look at this. This is one that I'm really bullish on. Right, so something that I'll definitely be accumulating some today. Keeping a little bit, okay, that I can either add on break or 200-day moving average, or I can buy a little bit lower down at the low 7s, right? But this one, bullish on. So high time frame buys right now, I'm in, right? Here is, let's actually zoom in again and go see where AVAX is at. So trade as well. If I was trading today, I'm actually going to possibly open a small position here on AVAX. Let's see here. Let me open a small position on AVAX. Again, I'm not going to go too crazy right now. On trading, I'm talking trading specific. I think long-term and spot is so much choice right now. Okay, so let's go a little bit here on AVAX. Let's open up AVAX and my stop loss. I'm going to go tightish stop loss for now in case it's a little fake out. 7.3. 7.3. Okay, $800 risk. Okay, so there is an AVAX position. There's 𝗬𝗵 breaking out. Fetch, not the sexiest. Renders breaking out. Okay, Ondo possibly breaking out as well, just to show you guys 4 hour. There we go, keep our eyes on Ondo. So guys, just to go back again, just before I do, also Blowfin, guys, any US users that are looking for exchanges, right, we do have a Sheldon and 𝗦�ស៊𝗏𝗏 exclusive lucky raffle. Right, so by using the link, you can go on for this raffles for some free prizes, but for traders looking for exchanges in the US, there is one for you guys. So to drop off this over here, guys, right now, we could be seeing signs that the pullback's done, right? Bitcoin still has a little bit of resistance ahead of it. We need to see a new high from Bitcoin. If not, there could still be a trap of a possible newish low for Bitcoin incoming. So what that means for me is altcoins that have kind of popped and moved, something like ETH and Solana that's already started to move up. I'm looking for alts that are freshly breaking trend, and I'm taking a few trades. I'm taking around 30% of my trading portfolio and taking trades on that right now. I'm still just a little bit cautious in case the trap comes at any moment. As you can see right now, Bitcoin is pushing to the highs of 80,000. Let's see how it goes. I'll be back tomorrow for some more action. And remember, if you zoom out, there is a long way to go. There's a long way to go, right? So don't allow short-term FOMO to drive you crazy. Lots of love, guys. Bye-bye.